FBI agents searching the home and office of former Ambassador John Bolton, President Trump's one-time national security advisor. It's all part of what the agency is calling a national security investigation. Welcome to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. Pamela Brown is off today, and you're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
And we begin this hour with the breaking news. FBI agents launching a court-authorized search at the home of John Bolton just after sunrise in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. They are currently also searching his downtown office in Washington, D.C. A source tells CNN the searches are part of a national security investigation related to Bolton's book, released back in 2020, and whether John Bolton disclosed classified information outside of his book. Bolton served as the national security advisor in President Trump's first term. He has since become a vocal critic of the president. Just minutes ago, the president delivered his first public reaction to the search. Listen.
I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me. Probably today sometime.
We're covering all the angles of this important development. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is outside the Bolton home in Bethesda, Maryland. Evan, what can you tell us about this search that's ongoing?
Well, Wolf, we still have FBI agents here at the scene. It's a residential neighborhood here in Bethesda, Maryland. You can still see those FBI vehicles still in front of the house. We saw them reposition just a little while ago, back up one of the vehicles up to the garage area. That perhaps might indicate that they're preparing to start bringing out any materials that they have found inside the home. We've seen about a dozen FBI agents here doing this search, and they've been here now at about the 4-hour mark of this search, so we don't know how much longer this is going to go. But as you pointed out, Wolf, this is a national security investigation. We've been told that by sources. We also are told, Kirsten Holmes has been told, that it does relate to his 2020 book. You'll remember, of course, that the president accused Bolton of mishandling classified information, of revealing classified information in that book. That book, of course, was the subject of an earlier criminal investigation and a lawsuit by the government, which accused Bolton of violating his non-disclosure agreement and of having that classified information in the book. If you remember, Wolf, that the book, though, was cleared by career officials inside the White House before that classified information, before the accusation came from Trump officials that he had indeed disclosed classified information. Now, we don't know exactly, Wolf, what they found. We have seen them bring in boxes, document boxes. We've seen them bring in other items that would be used if they did want to remove things from the home. We haven't seen them do that yet. But again, just a few minutes ago, we saw a number of agents just rearrange those vehicles to prepare perhaps to remove items perhaps from the garage, which is right there. Now, we have obviously the Montgomery County Police here trying to manage some of the traffic. This is a very busy street in Bethesda, and we have seen them here set up, try to manage some of the traffic situation. We expect, Wolf, that this search is probably nearing completion. If we've seen these FBI agents repositioning their vehicles, we're told that this is being handled by the FBI out of Baltimore, Wolf. And again, we're waiting to see what more we can learn about the reason for it. Wolf.
All right, Evan Perez in Bethesda, Maryland, outside the home of John Bolton. Thank you very much. CNN Crime and Justice correspondent Caitlin Polance and CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes are here with me in the Situation Room. Kristen, you have some new reporting on why these searches are taking place. Tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so this, again, as Evan said, this stems from that book in 2020 and this idea that Bolton published classified information, particularly the fact that President Trump basically said at that time he was going to put Bolton in jail for publishing that information. They opened an investigation. That was then closed under Biden and reopened when Kash Patel took over in charge of FBI. FBI, but I also am told that it goes beyond just the book, that they are doing an investigation into whether or not Bolton leaked classified information beyond the book to potential clients, to the media. All of this would be in a form of what they would call weaponization, but unclear if that's weaponization against President Trump or weaponization against the government. We're still trying to get details on this investigation. And I will tell you, just moments ago, and I know you said this, but it was interesting how this all played out. We saw the search happening at the House. I was told that FBI agents were essentially staging outside of the office all morning long. They were waiting for a federal magistrate judge to sign off on a warrant, which they did just recently, and that's why now the FBI search has begun inside of Bolton's office as well.
Downtown Washington, as well as at the home in Bethesda, Maryland. Caitlin, I know you...
Well, from what we are seeing, the FBI wearing those jackets, doing these searches both in Washington, D.C. and Maryland, getting approval from a court to do it, showing the court very likely they have probable cause to have this investigation. It would be a criminal investigation. It would be the sort of thing that John Bolton previously faced when a grand jury looked at the evidence that was being collected after his book release during the first Trump administration, and that he was not indicted. The issues down the line, he could face an indictment, but we would be a long way from that, given that this would be an investigation. The FBI would pull documents theoretically out of his house, out of his office. Those would become part of the investigation, and then a grand jury would need to look at something and approve an indictment, and then you have the full route of something going through court. Donald Trump, he was indicted for the mishandling of national security information after the search of Mar-a-Lago in 2022. It took a year for that indictment to come about, and the way that that was looked at by a judge in Florida is greatly probed how the FBI, the Justice Department, conducts the handling of these very things that we're seeing happen right now. So that all is going to be coming into play potentially if a charge were to be coming out of this from the grand jury. Bolton has not been charged at this time, and we're getting circumspect comments from people like the FBI director saying no one is above the law this morning. FBI agents on mission, and the Attorney General saying justice will be pursued always.
And they really just need a limited amount of information to justify a warrant for a search like this at the home and office, as opposed to formal indictments, right?
It would be a different legal standard. So it would be the probable cause that they would be expecting to find something in his home and in his office specifically, that they have knowledge to go in there and that they could find something that would serve their investigation, evidence that could serve before the grand jury. That's not the same standard that's needed to try someone for a crime like this. It would have to be for a conviction beyond a reasonable doubt.
Totally. All right. Thanks very much. We'll get back to both of you. I know you're both working your sources.